Welcome. You are officially strategy aligned professionals. That's what we call our members inside of our online global community. And today we're going to talk about your annual planning strategy for a strong 2025, mastering annual planning for business success. And this is exciting because the power of strategic planning and annual planning can be a game changer if you've never done this before. And maybe you attempted to do some part of it and never really had the momentum that you wanted or got the results you were looking for. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about how that happens, why that happens later on in this presentation. But as of right now, we're roughly, as of this recording, 2 weeks away from another new year. So as of this recording, it is December 18th, 2024. 2 weeks from today, it will be January 1st, 2025. And we have to do a better job of preparing ourselves, not only for the upcoming new year, but for the entire year. And when we can create an annual plan, a strong annual plan, we increase our probability of success for our business, for ourselves as professionals, even personally. I'm excited to get into this topic. We're going to go deep. I'm going to demo at least 7, 8, or possibly even 9 tools that you can be using. Some are free and some are paid. But these tools are tools I use on behalf of our Moving Forward Small Business, on behalf of some of our clients, and of course, in a lot of our trainings with our online membership community, which I'll also briefly talk about as well. I will also give you access to templates. If you've been using a tool called Notion, then you can just import them right in. If you haven't, this is another great tool that you can use that is free. I use it a lot. I used to use Apple Notes, and I replaced Apple Notes with Notion because it just has so many more incredible features that I can utilize even on the free plan. So before we can get into what we're going to talk about, let me tell you a little bit about me and Moving Forward Small Business. So my name is Jimmy Newson. I am a consultant, business consultant and advisor. I specialize in growth strategies, specifically around digital transformation. I am the senior advisor of the New York Marketing Association. I've written for Entrepreneur Magazine on their digital portal. And I do programming and training for a lot of really big organizations, both in the public sector and the private sector. And I'm also an international speaker, so I travel around the world speaking on behalf of small businesses, working with bigger organizations to support small businesses. So you got SCORE, you got your Digital Marketing World Forum, you have New York Public Library, you have DC Startup Week. Some of the tools I will demo, I'm also partnered with because, again, these are great tools I think that can be the difference between you really making an impact and struggling versus struggling trying to get things done. So, of course, if you're not on your phone, you could scan this QR code, or you can just go to movingforwardsmallbusiness.com, or even just Google my name. I am an SEO guy. So you know, this has been recorded, so this will be sent out within the next 24 hours. And I'm also going to share a resource page at the end that will have this replay on it, even though the replay is not on it yet, but it'll have all the tools that I mentioned, direct links to those tools, and even access for you to get into our community if you so decide. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit about Moving Forward Small Business. Moving Forward Small Business is a community-based membership. We're dedicated to business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals, and startups. We focus heavily on strategy. Our 3 pillars are innovation, technology, and business strategy. Our vision is to be the #1 strategic support system for small businesses globally, and our mission is to save 1 million small businesses from failure, leveraging innovation, technology, and strategy. So I'm going to show you the tools, but inside the community, we go deep in these tools. I mean, really, really deep. So you have a strong understanding of how to leverage these tools to accomplish the objectives and the goals that you're setting out on behalf of your organization. And of course, you have the ability to communicate with other members inside the community as well, which helps to empower growth. And just to give an example, we have over 160 hours of on-demand training. We usually map out our training programs based on feedback from within the community. Some of the topics we've covered is dream big, vision, mission, values, creating lucrative partnerships with for-profits, nonprofits, and government organizations, time management strategies, which includes time boxing, task batching, email nurture sequences using AI, SEO strategies. So, and again, we go very deep. These are all monthly based training frameworks, which have on average 6 to 7 hours of training per framework. So we go deep. So if you're interested, at the end, I'll let you know how you can join the community. But let's go ahead and get into what are we going to talk about today. And today we're going to talk about annual planning versus strategic planning. We're going to talk about vision, mission, and goals, reflecting on the past, strategic objectives, resource planning, marketing strategy, risk assessment, and quarterly reviews. So again, we want to set ourselves up for success for the year. So let's start by making sure we understand the difference between annual planning and strategic planning. And so for annual planning, it focuses on the immediate year ahead. So again, we're about to go into 2025. Now, no matter when you're watching this, your year might be slightly different. You might treat your year as March to February. It's really up to you. But you focus on the immediate year ahead. You outline concrete steps and actions to achieve more or less short-term goals. And I would even say possibly mid-term goals as well. Is more tactical and operational, and you want to really be able to understand your available resources and your capabilities. Now, strategic planning, which is something that we focus on heavily within the community, it's really about that long-term goal. Where do we see ourselves in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? I mentioned our mission is to save 1 million small businesses from failure by 2050, leveraging innovation, technology, and strategy. As of right now of 2020, it's going to be 2025. Our big goal, our big vision is 25 years away from January 1st. Okay. So, and we have a plan on how we're going to help 1 million businesses and prove that we've done so. Okay. And everything we do up until that point contributes to that big vision. So strategic planning is more conceptual and analytical, requires a broad view of the organization's environment and the opportunities. Okay. So let's go ahead and get deep into this. We're going to look at the 7 annual planning step roadmap. Okay, so 7 things that we need to be thinking about, 7 things we need to do, and this is where I'm going to dive into into a number of tools. Okay, so the most important thing is your vision and your goals, and of course your mission. So when I say vision, we're also thinking rolled up into that is your mission, and your mission, and as well as your purpose. Okay. So when we talk about company vision statement, it needs to be a clear, concise statement outlining the company's long-term aspirations. Okay, it is your North Star. And then your mission statement defines the company's purpose and how it will achieve that vision. So what are the things that have to happen in order for the vision to come true? And then we have our core values, which is a guiding principle that shapes the company's culture and decision making. So when it comes to understanding your values, is how are we supposed to behave? How are the people around us supposed to behave? And if anyone is not in alignment with those values, then they can self-select that this is not the road that they want to be on, which is with your organization. Now, this has to be followed both by those who patronize the business, who purchase from the business, and those who are part of the working team. Whether that is staff, employees, virtual assistants, even partners, strategic partners. And then we're going to focus on annual revenue goals, and when we talk about goals, everything should be tied back to some form of revenue. That doesn't mean revenue is the leader. We have this thing called leading indicators and lagging indicators. These are key performance indicators, okay? And so when we use lagging indicators means that they're lagging behind, and those are usually revenue first goals or KPIs. That means we're saying we just want to make $50,000 more this quarter. Without a leader, meaning a leading indicator, that could mean anything to everybody on the team. But when we say we're going to launch a new product, and that product's going to be responsible for bringing in $50,000 more this quarter, now that's a leading indicator, because now everybody can rally behind the thing together as a group that's going to get us that 50, which puts a lot of our resources and energy, focuses it into a very specific way of getting things done and all staying on the same page. Okay, and then growth objectives, and these objectives are how we are going to achieve our goals. Okay, and so let's dive deeper into that here. So since we're talking about annual planning, there's something different that we have to think about versus strategic planning, and that's reflecting on the past year, the past 12 months. Okay, so reviewing key achievements, challenges, and learnings, identifying trends and analysis performance data, and gaining insight. So two things I want to share with you before we go deeper into this, and let's go over here. And right now, I'm going to introduce you to your first tool. It's called Cascade. And Cascade is actually free, has a free plan for small businesses, which is more than capable of doing what we're going to talk about today. So that's the beauty of this here. Now, what we're looking at here, again, you can sign up at cascade.app. We're going to give you a link later. And this is an overview. So it talks about what are the upcoming goals, and it talks about what's the upcoming work and recent updates, and there's chat, and there's plans. Okay, so I'm not going to go too deep into this. Again, this is just kind of a scratch the surface type of scenario here, but you got plans and teams. So what it allows you to do is build plans, and the plans represent the what you're trying to achieve. So you can have one that says annual plan, if you want to keep it high level. This one here represents, a retail strategy, an employee engagement plan, operation strategy, legal strategy. And so you may go, well, what's the difference between this tool, Cascade, and a tool like Monday.com? Those are more project management tools, Asana. And so they work, each project is independent of other projects. Inside of a tool like Cascade, it measures strategy. So all plans are connected, and they all lead back to that main vision, what you're trying to achieve for the entire organization, even beyond the year. So if we quickly click into one, let's just look at marketing strategy. Okay, and when we look at marketing strategy, as the plan, what we have here, or what we got, or what we call your focus areas. So they want to focus on customer experience and market leadership. And you can see it says they're behind on both. And this is where it's now measuring your strategy. And if we click into any one of these, we can see, well, what are the objectives of that focus area or that goal? And they want to boost website traction by increasing customer interaction. They want to, improve employer branding. They want to increase community engagement. And they want to optimize digital footprint. And you can see one of them, they're on track. 3 of them, they're behind, but they're not that far behind. Like this one's 90% done. So then you click in further, and now you can see what are the what are the projects and the KPIs that you're measuring it by. You can see their KPIs is average followers per platform. Plan social media campaigns and start trending hashtag stories. So you can see that they're actually really good on number 2, but they're behind on number 3 and 4. And this is where you can start to dive into your strategy and see what's holding you back. What are the things that are working well? What are the things that are not working well? And this is where now we come back to the tool, back to the program, and we start to reflect. When we're starting to track that data, we can look at things like review achievements. What achievements have we done over the past 12 months? What accomplishments and what contributed to that success? Maybe it was an individual. Maybe it was a specific campaign. Maybe it was a strategic partner that you worked with. And then you can identify challenges, note any obstacles faced, and consider how they were addressed. Were there obstacles throughout this last year? Were they addressed, one? And if they were, how were they addressed? And then, of course, you can analyze the financials. Look at your income statements and your balance sheets to understand your financial health. So now I want to come back over here, and I told you I'd have another template for you. So template number 1 is an annual business planning template. So it's a pretty high level template here. It's got your vision and goals. And again, the visions and goals are not specifically for the annual plan. They should be in place. So if you don't have them, you have to start there first, which is why this is first. So you know what your company vision statement is. You know what your mission statement is, your core values. You know what your annual revenue goals. What are the financials? You know, how much money do you want to make over the next 12 months? And then what are some of the high-level objectives you think you're going to have to do to make that happen? So you can list that here. If you have Notion, you can click over here to click on duplicate, and it will duplicate it into your actual Notion, and then you can edit this as you see fit. All right. If you don't, then you might want to just make a copy of this here. If you don't want to use Notion, and just copy this document, the stuff in the document into your system. Okay. Now we talked about reflecting on the past year. Okay. So now we have review achievements. So what are the achievements that you've achieved in the last 12 months? List some of the top ones. List some of your challenges, and again, analyze your financials and see what was going on there. And then we have strategic objectives. Okay, what are the objectives that you want to do in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4? And you need to add dates, and we're going to go deeper into that in a second. But I just want to show you here that this here represents the entire training we're doing. So each one of these sections we're going to cover in today's workshop. Okay, and then the next one is we just finished doing the annual come back over here. We talked about reflecting on the past year. Well, in our community, this is our topic for the month. So one of our members asked, it would be great if we could actually do month to month moving forward and reflect on the month, which of course would make it a lot easier to do an annual recap of the year. So we created this template that you can start using as of January 1st, for the month of January, where you can each month lock down your achievements and wins, your success factors, your challenges, solutions if you had any, financial analysis, revenue overview. What does that look like? Key financials, key performance indicators. What were the things you were tracking this per month? Any lessons learned, your top 3 lessons learned, and you can action items. So all this is editable if you're able to import this into Notion, which is also free on the plan that this will work on. Or again, you can make your own spreadsheet, whether that's in Excel or any other tool that you want. You might have to just copy and paste this over into that tool. So these are the first 2, and the third one I'm going to show you. The third template I'm going to give you access to will be the strategic objectives and resource planning template. So let's go back into the deck. So we've done some reflecting, so if you don't remember everything, that's okay. But if you're trying to figure out what you may have done, you may not remember in February, go back and look at your calendar and see what was on your calendar. That might help remind you of some of the things that you've done that will now trigger you understanding what may have been some great wins, what may have been some challenges and whatnot. But let's keep rocking. So now let's get into strategic objectives. Okay, so what you want to do is define specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound strategic objectives, which is SMART objectives. Okay, these objectives guide the company's overall direction and assure alignment with the annual business plan. Okay, so what we want to do is break down our annual goals into quarterly targets, and then come up with key objectives for each quarter, and then put targets on them. When are they due? When is it? And not only when is it due, who is responsible? And in most cases, what you want to do with these objectives and these KPIs is add 2 people as accountability for those objectives, for those KPIs. And one is the one that's doing the actual work, and the other one is the one that's overseeing that it gets done. Okay? And if you're a one-person organization, well, you're going to be wearing some of those hats. But the objective of focusing on things that are revenue generators over everything else, because you're going to have to narrow it down, that way you can start to focus on, all right, I need to bring more people into the fold. But if you're not focused on revenue generating strategies, that's not going to happen, and you're going to continue to be bogged down by the everyday aspect of running the business. We need to start working on the business and not in the business as leaders, as the owners, as the founders of our organization. Okay, so here's some ideas of some key performance indicators that should match your goals. So maybe your objective is revenue growth, or to understand the customer acquisition cost, or to increase the customer lifetime value of each customer, or to get more market share, or to improve your customer satisfaction rating, or even improve your employee retention rate. So what we have here, let's look at revenue growth. So this is about tracking the increase in revenue over a period of time. So if you need to figure out, how to figure out what your revenue was over a period of time, maybe you're doing year-over-year growth rate, or monthly recurring revenue, or revenue by product line. So you're picking these things, and the formula is current period revenue minus prior period revenue divided by prior period revenue times 100 will give you a percentage. And you can look at all these. Again, you'll have access to this deck, so you can go back later and determine, these are some high-level performance indicators. So it's not get my website up to 300,000 visits in the next 6 months. This is, which is also a strong KPI, and it's very specific. All right. So let's take a look at an example of a customer retention rate. So they want to improve their customer retention rate, and they want to get that rate above 90%. And so if we look at the numbers, they had 20 new customers in, say, the last 30 days, and they ended up with a total of 110. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate customer retention rate by saying, for instance, if a company started the quarter with 100 customers, gained 20 new customers, and ended up with 110 customers, the customer retention rate would be 110 minus 20 divided by 100, which is 0.90, which translates to 90%. So you had a 90% customer retention rate. And so this is, again, how you can start to look at these things. So you start with that number. So you got to figure out what that initial number is if you've already in business, and then try to increase that number. So this becomes ground zero, your starting point. Okay. So next, let's go into resource planning. All right. Resource planning involves allocating and managing assets, including personnel, capital, and technology to meet the business objective. This process is crucial for ensuring operational efficiency, achieving strategic goals, and maintaining financial stability. So the two things we're going to zero in on here is, one, financial resources. Financial resources are a key component of your annual business plan. So you need to be budgeting, budget planning. You need investment requirements, and you need to, again, get some form of a return on investment for what you're doing here. And so if we look at these three things, we can use AI. Now, I didn't mention AI before, but you can use AI on a lot of everything I talked about. And we're going to look at a number of tools when we get to the marketing section that you can actually use before in other sections other than just marketing. So if we look at financial resources, I actually want to now go to our second tool. We use a tool called UpMetrics. We use a couple of tools, and this tool is great for financing. It's a business planning software, but it's AI first. So this is a new business we're looking at starting called Spark Strategy. And so we're actually building the plan now, and we're actually building out our beta because this is a SaaS product that we want to launch in Q1. And we've already put some stuff in here. We used the AI. It helped us create an initial business plan that we're now modifying. And just a quick note about how I see AI in your workflow. Part of when AI is concerned, it's human, AI, back to human, and then it goes out to the world. So if we come over here, we can see this is the business plan. This is the financial forecasting. It creates a pitch deck. There's strategic planning templates here in this tool. So even a lot of stuff I'm teaching you here could be done inside this tool. And then, of course, you can pen things. But let's go to the financials. So if I click on this here, it gives us, we can look at forecasting. So it gives us the opportunity to understand revenue, cost of sales, expenses, personnel, working capital, settings. Okay. And this used AI. So I didn't do anything. I just kind of gave it a couple of prompts, and then it realized based on my industry that I'm probably going to have monthly subscriptions. I'm going to have annual subscriptions. I'm going to do a freemium model. I might offer one-on-one consultations. I might offer group workshops, webinars, which you're currently on, advanced analytics, custom reports. So all this stuff was created, even referral programs. So I can come in here to complete this referral program I'd like to create. And I add in a couple of things. I may not be able to finish it all, but you can see I could say it's going to be on unit sales. It's going to be how many do I expect to sell monthly. So let's say if my goal is 100 new members a month, maybe 25 will join our program. And what is the percentage over time? Let's just say 2%. What will I charge? So I built all this out, and I'm just going to throw in some basic numbers. 25. I could sales tax collection. I have it off. I could turn it on, and so I've got this starting. If I'm doing it for just the 1 year, then come in here and change that to just 2026. So I'm just doing 1 year tracking. But let's just leave it like that. Let's click save, and it's going to automatically start to do all the numbers for me. And so it did all that for me. And again, the AI is kind of this, but it chose a lot of this initial stuff for me as AI. So I didn't have to come up with how many different ways can I make money. This gave me a lot of great ways. And the cool thing is, for our main company, Moving Forward Small Business, we're leveraging a lot of this. So this is very, very accurate for our business. And again, it helps us in forecasting, understanding how much money we're going to need, who we might need to hire when it comes to personnel, which we're going to get into next. So look, it says forecast with AI. So personal expenses. So let's forecast with AI. So let's say, we know it's a business strategy SaaS tool. So let's see what it says in regards to suggesting. Boom. So it gave us some ideas of people we need to hire. So let's just check them all off here. We're going big time, people. And let it do its thing. So boom, there you go. Now I'm going to have to go in here and start editing things and this is where AI is great, but it still requires human interaction. So now I need to go to Glassjar or Indeed to get real numbers for, that competitive numbers for the people I'm trying to hire. And if there's somebody that's missing, then I might add in, add a group. So I might also work with, for our smaller organizations, virtual assistants. And then break that down based on, am I going to do virtual assistants, fractional CFO, fractional executive teams, fractional CFO, fractional CMO, fractional CTO. So there's so much you can do. But again, this just helps you move along fast. And now you have real numbers. Okay, so let's go back in here. And we talked about finances, but again, now we talk about human resources, which I showed you could also do in that tool, but you could also do it in almost any tool. Here's a tool we use constantly called AnyWord. And this tool allows, I manage a lot of our frameworks, our clients, our customers, and training here. This is an AI generative tool. So this generates stuff based on commands. So if I come over here and I say show all, just to give you an example of everything it can do, it can do, it can improve content, it can create ads, it can create website content like landing pages, landing page headers, subheaders, call to actions, benefits, features, meta descriptions. It can build multi-prompt campaigns, social across all social platforms, or at least most of them, email, e-commerce. So it's pretty much, it could do everything. I spend a lot of time using their version of a ChatGPT, which is just write prompts. So let's just say here, I'm developing a annual plan for 2025. I need a list of potential hires for a new business. I'm going to say new business, so I'm going to act like I have no employees. Okay? And that might be enough. And here's the cool thing. AI is getting better and better, so I can put it in a specific tone of voice: neutral, advisor, motivator, entertainer, empathetic, trendsetter, innovator, educator, and I can even create my new one or add the voice of moving forward small business. Okay, and then it pulls in some talking points. I can add more, and based on this, it already created specific target audience that I might be targeting with this message. Okay, so if I click on business consultant, it'll tell me some of the pain points. An HR manager, some of the pain points, or I can keep it broad, and I could choose variations. I usually do on average 3, so I can do a comparison and find the one I like the best. So let's just say I just use one. I'm just going to generate, and let's see what it comes up with. And so this is where you'll look at all of your AI tools. Okay, so it didn't give me, so I need a list of potential hires, break them down by category. So let's see if it does it right this time. And this is where you might have to play around with this a bit, which is why I might generate one. And so there we go. So it gave me management, technical, creative, sales, finance. So there's many different ways to get to the end goal. So the question becomes, which tools do you have available to you that will allow you to do this? Some tools might be able to do quite a bit. Some tools may be responsible for only one specific thing. I don't have one tool. There is no one tool can do everything. At least I've never run across it yet. Okay, so let's come back over here. So when we talk about human resources, team structure, current organizational framework ensures optimal collaboration and efficiency. We got to think about hiring needs. You know, what are we missing? So you might need to do a gap analysis for your annual plan to go, this is what we're trying to achieve. We may not have all the technical expertise to pull it off. So do we need to hire someone? Do we need to bring in part-time? Should we leverage a virtual assistant or a freelancer? Should we build a partnership, a strategic partnership, and let that partner cover some of the things that we need to achieve our annual goals? And then if you do things internally, training requirements. What are the training requirements that you're going to provide to your team to up-level them to be ready for the challenge? And what it's going to take to achieve your annual goal. So that's part of your plan. And again, if we go back to this annual plan, we're seeing resource planning, annual budgets, investment required, expected ROI, human resources. So you're writing things down. You're kind of documenting things so you know what you're doing, and then you can actually upload this back into your AI tool if you have that capability, and have it flush out the plan for you. The key to AI, and what I love about AI, and where I think most people get AI wrong, is it is an assistant. It is a tool. It is not the end-all be-all. You know, so it requires a thinking person on the front end to come up with, what am I trying to achieve? What do I want created? And then on the back end going, this is pretty good, but I still need to tweak it. You know, I still need to make modifications, and I might even need to update my prompt and structure to get what I want, just as well as this. You know, without that second line, it gave me a single line. I had to update the prompt, and then I got what I was looking for. And then I might ask for 3 variations so I can find the best one. Now, again, this is this is a lot of people. I'm not going to hire this many people. So I might ask it, what are the most important people I need, to hire when I have a limited budget, or I know that the specific budget, to get through the next 3 to 6 months as a new organization. All of these prompts are up to you. Okay. Let's go back in here. Oh, one more thing I want to show you. I kind of skipped over. So we talked about strategic objectives. So I created this template, and it's broken into two parts. Yes, it's broken into identify strategic objectives and resource planning. Okay. So if we look at strategic objectives, again, we're looking at that mission, vision, key milestones, and aligned objectives. Okay. We need to conduct a SWOT analysis. We need to know what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what our opportunities are, and our threats. So that's a SWOT analysis. Strengths and weaknesses are internal. They're things that you control. They're things about you and your organization. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? opportunities and threats or external. These are things that can affect, you achieving your goals and objectives, you getting through your annual plan. What are the opportunities out there that you can tap into? What are the threats that could stop you? Okay. And then we look at prioritize market growth and sustainability objectives. So, is it market expansion? Is it revenue targets? Is it customer retention? Is it innovation initiatives? And now we're going to set those SMART goals. And then part 2, we're going to look at our resources. We're going to identify, what do we have available to us at this moment? What are we missing to make sure that plan is as effective as it can be? We can analyze our resource utilization. Are we using our tools to its fullest? And then, of course, documentation. Do we have documentation on things? And basically, we're talking about SOPs, so we can start to expand and grow. Okay, financial resources, human resources, again, current team skills matrix, requirement training programs. Are there things out there? You've got moving forward small business could be one of your resource tools. We have tons of great training that goes very deep, that could be very advantageous to you and people on your team. Okay. And then you're able to summarize the key points and the resources. So now I'm going to give you another tool. Let's start with SWOT analysis. So I want to do something different. So I looked up Candy Store, and then I used another tool called SEO Minion to just get a description of the candy store. What is the description? And then I dropped it into this tool called, SWOT analysis generator. And it says, I put it in here. It says, drop in a description of your company. So I dropped in, I'm going to get the name of the company. The name of the company is called Candy Store. So let me do this. I'm going to say Candy Store is the largest online candy offering an unmatched variety of over 6,500 candies. Shop the best candy shop selection at candystore.com and enjoy flat rate shipping. So I just copied that simple thing in there, and it's going to generate a SWOT analysis. Now, if I do it twice, it's going to generate a different one each time. So you don't just use this because, again, you have to determine what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses and opportunities and threats. So it says, is a strength, the largest candy store with over 6,500 candies. 2, wide selection attracts customers with diverse preferences. 3, flat rate shipping. So it's only going to give you back what you put in. So it just puts it into a SWOT analysis. So if I scroll down, it's going to give me a little bit more information. Okay. Now, another way I might look at this is I could ask my AI tool to analyze my website and give me a SWOT analysis. So let's just do it like this. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So let's just say, based on this URL, please create a SWOT analysis. And I'm going to copy the URL. Command C. And I'm back at AnyWord. Okay, so I dropped it in there. And I want it to be on an advisor level. Okay. So, and I'm going to gear it towards a candy lover. Okay, so that's the persona I'd like to write it for on behalf of. Click generate, and let's see what it creates for me. So what I'm trying to show you is there's more than one way to get to the finish line, depending on what you're trying to create. And of course, you could do a lot of this in ChatGPT, but you got to be careful of that. Now, the difference between this and that is this tool only went off of what I put in here. Because I used the URL of the actual website, my AnyWord tool had more to pull from. So it created strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats for me based on what it was picking up from the actual full web page, not just a small description. So it's even more, it might be more focused. Now, you might need real data for real threats and real opportunities. So you can't just go by this because, again, it's pulling from what it's finding. So you might leverage another tool like First Research, okay, which we get access to for free at our local library. So you might want to check on that as well. And in this tool, this is actual real data based on your industry. So I could pop in any industry here. I popped in the mattress manufacturing industry just to show you how obscure this could be. Okay, when you pop in an industry, it gives you an industry overview. It'll give you critical issues of the industry, business challenges, business trends, industry opportunities, financial information. So again, so this is real data, all right? And so let's look at, and I could download this entire thing. So let's look at some of the industry forecasts for the manufacturing industry. All right, there we go. So if I click on industry forecast, it's going to tell me revenue in current dollar for U.S. mattress productions is forecast to grow at an annual compound rate of 1% between 2023 and 2028. So again, that might be a very important thing. So that's an opportunity. I could look at any challenges. Volatile raw material costs. Mattress manufacturers are vulnerable to fluctuation in the cost of various raw materials, including petroleum-based chemicals and steels, which raw materials when raw material prices rise, companies may not be able to pass higher costs on to customers, which may reduce margins. So again, now you're knowing some external threats, things that you have no control over. So this is how you get real data. So you might search the internet for you want to search for a report, and based on the year you're in, for your industry, so you can analyze that and get some real threats and some real opportunities from that. Industry opportunities. What are the opportunities? Emerging market, greater awareness of sleep quality. And so this can affect your marketing message. This can affect partnership strategies you might go after. Rise in mattresses made from natural materials. So in sourcing materials and again, leveraging this information to attract your target audience and to, of course, sell more product. Okay, so let's come back in here. So let's talk quickly about marketing strategies. The marketing strategy outlines a plan for reaching target audiences and promoting your products. So we've got target market analysis. We want to know what marketing channels you should be on. Let's talk. I'm going to quickly mention marketing budgets, and of course we have campaign calendars. So let's start with marketing budget, because as a business you have to allocate money towards marketing, and the industry standard is for a new business you allocate anywhere from 12 to 20% of your annual revenue to marketing. If you're an established business, then it drops down to 6 to 12%. And again, these are just industry standards. But at the end of the day, you're seeing you need to be spending something on marketing, okay? And if we come over here, back here, I'm going to show you a couple of new tools we use an incredible tool called SEMrush. And SEMrush, we use it for everything from SEO to local SEO, advertising, social media, content marketing. And we have this section called Trends, okay? This is an add-on. And Trends will give us more of an insight. This is more market research. And so I use Coca-Cola as an example. And let's say I am Coca-Cola and I'm trying to gain more market share from Pepsi and Dr. Pepper, Keurig, and any other ones. I can see how many of the main dominant players are in it. What's the total addressable market and the total serviceable market or sellable market. I can scroll down and see who are our game changers, leaders, niche players, and established players. I can see, domain versus market dynamics, who's got the most. It looks like Coca-Cola has the most over PepsiCo and other ones. I can even choose who we're going against. So this shows it itself, but I can go, I only want to analyze these 7. So if you know your top competitors, you can do it that way. Then this purple line represents the market where it goes up and down. And then the yellow line represents whoever you're tracking. And you can see, are we staying relevant to the market? If the market goes up, we go up. If the market goes down, we go down. If the market goes down and you go up, then you've got a strong marketing strategy. If the market goes up and you go down, well, there's something wrong with your strategy. You need to look at that. And again, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but another aspect might be we might want to look at, how your competitors are doing digitally. Are they running ads? Are they creating blog posts? How many new pages did they create in the last week or 30 days? How many social posts did they do? How much social engagement are they getting? You can get all this data with your analytics tools. Now imagine you're measuring this every single month between January and next year. look at all the data you're starting to amass. Another tool I want to show you real quick is Idea 8. And Idea 8 is more of a sentiment AI tool. So I mentioned, Coke. So let's say I drop in Red Bull. I want to see what the sentiment is around Red Bull. And Red Bull is, this tool pulls from Reddit. So it's pulling sentiment from Reddit. So it creates these personas: the frustrated fan, the loyal supporter, the analytical observer, the casual viewer, the health-conscious consumer, the trendy customer. So let's look at the health-conscious consumer. So this one here says the health-conscious consumer is drawn to Red Bull for its perceived benefits, such as energy boost and improved focus. This persona is motivated by a desire to maintain their energy levels throughout the day, whether for work, study, or physical activities. So it says, what are the drivers of this particular person? A desire for energy, an interest in maintaining energy level, a focus on health and wellness. Now, what's the problem? The problem is high sugar content in the energy drink, concerns about long-term health effects, stigma around energy drink consumption, perception of energy drink as unhealthy. So now these are things that Red Bull has to combat. So this might cause them to innovate on their products to address some of these problems that stop some people from using their product. Or if I'm a competitor and this is telling me what people are saying about them, so I can actually use this to my advantage and go, if you would love to drink Red Bull, but you consider it unhealthy, we have a healthy alternative to give you these things: a desired energy boost without the risk of your health. So where are the opportunities? Promotion of a lower sugar and sugar-free option. Marketing campaigns emphasizing natural ingredients. So it's giving you the answers. And then, so there we go. Opportunities. So we've got drivers, problem, and opportunities. So you can do this for competitors. You can do this for a location. You can do this for an industry. And this is all AI based. And then we have one more tool I'm going to show you, and that's Persona, Delve.ai. Delve.ai pulls information from your Google Analytics, your Google Search Console, and if you're on the high enough plan, from your CRM, depending on your plan. Now, what it does is it takes your historical data and it puts people, and it builds buckets of personas. So it gives you, this is a student. So this is actual moving forward small business. And if I click on this persona detail to understand a little bit more about this individual, and this is all AI based on my URL, it gave me an idea that 60% of my users are a passive browser. This is a summary of who this young lady is, Sophia. It makes her up. So she's not real, but she represents a group of people. She's a female student. We're doing a lot of work in the college market, so now we're starting to get hit by a lot of college students on our website. It talks about her drivers, her goals, her motivation, her key needs. It talks about her obstacles, her buying behavior. It talks about where she fits in the work aspect. She's a student, so she's not entry-level associate. It talks about her forms of where she prefers to communicate. So if I want to target more Sophia's, then I know I need to be on social media. What content does she consume when she's on our site? Case studies, blog posts. What is her interest? What events does she attend? What device is she typically connected to? What is her first form of interaction with any brand? It's organic search. So if I'm not doing SEO, this is now an opportunity for me to double down on SEO if this is the persona I'd like to go after. Okay, so you see how you're getting all this incredible data from this individual using AI. So again, this tool, I go deep into all these tools inside of our community. So I'm only giving you just a little bit for each one. Okay, so let's talk about risk assessment. When we think about risk assessment, we're talking about what are the potential risks. Identify potential risks that could impact the business, your plan. We need to impact the level, assess the potential impact for each of the risks, because you're going to have to address some of them. You may not have the resources to address them all. And then you need to create a mitigation strategy. And again, if we look back at things like Red Bull, and here are the opportunities. How can we, address the problems? And so once you come up with the idea of here are things that could derail us, and again, that could come from your SWOT analysis, whether it's your weakness or your threats, which I've shown you in a number of different ways how you get to that. Now you got to come up with strategies around, well, what if this happens? What do we do next? What if we have another pandemic? Are we prepared? Okay? And then finally, we're at the end, quarterly reviews. None of this works if we don't start to measure. Okay? So at the end of the day, we can now use a tool like Cascade to measure. Are we on track? Are we behind? If we are behind, where are we behind? So we get to dive into the tool, into the strategy, and go, oh, we're actually doing good here. It's here where we're having an issue. Again, we go over the market leadership here. And let's go. I just want to find one where we might be really in trouble. Okay, here we go. So this one, double our organic traffic to our website. So it says we're behind. We're doing great on improving our website speed. We're doing great on lowering the bounce rate, but we're not doing great in achieving our monthly organic goal. We want to be hitting 30,000 people. We're at 24, so it's at risk of not happening. So we can dive deep into this again and see where the issue is. So again, when we think things might be working, but if we're not tracking and we're tracking all of these unique things, we won't know what is the culprit until it's too late. And that's the whole point. So that's where, if you're using the monthly template that I gave you about analyzing, you can use every 3 months, you couple them together, and then you analyze them using AI or yourself and come up with some things that you can present in your quarterly review meetings that need to be addressed, and let people know where we are on getting to the end of the year and achieving that annual plan. Okay? So our action items: track. Set deadlines. Every deadline won't go to the end of the year. They're going to be deadlines that are a week long, a month long, 3 months long, 6 months long, and then assign ownership. Who are going to be the ones that are responsible for doing the work? Who's going to be responsible for marking that the work has been completed so it can move on? Another cool thing about using a tool like Cascade, is the fact that, of course, when one thing is complete, people can be notified. So there's no more of trying to follow up with people. This is transparent. Everybody can see what's going on and see how they contribute to the big plan. All right. So, in recap, for your annual planning roadmap, you need a vision and goals. You need to reflect on the past. You need to set up some strategic objectives. You need to take a deep look at your resource strategy, financial, human capacity, and of course, tools. You need to then address the marketing strategy you're going to use for the year, do a risk assessment, and then set up quarterly reviews at least for the next year to continue to monitor it. And if you're the one in charge, you might have this thing open every day, but everyone else might be set on a quarterly check-in, depending on their level of connection. So let's look at our resources. I shared the annual business plan. I shared the monthly reflection template. I shared the strategic objective and resource template. These are the tools I talked about today: Cascade, SWOT Analysis Generator, Delve.ai, First Research, AnyWord, Idea 8, SEMrush, and UpMetrics. So these are all the tools I shared today. So your next steps are, I'm going to drop in the chat in a second the link to the page that I created, and it has all of the tools and all of the templates, and this video will also be on there within 24 hours. So right now it'll be everything except for that. So I'm going to drop that in, and if you're interested in becoming a member of our community, right now we're in the middle of our one-time annual our lifetime investment. So if you invest $299, our monthly is usually $49 a month to be a member, or $490 a year. Right now, we want to get a lot of great members into the community, so we're willing to do a one-time spend. And if you use the code annual2025, you'll get 25% off if you do it within the next 24 hours as of this recording, which would be at the end of the day on December 19th, 2024. All right. You can scan this code. I'll also drop that into the as well. And if we have any questions, I'll check the chat. And you can always connect with me by going to jimmynewson.com. So right now I'm going to come over here and we have two things I want to drop in. So this is the URL that I'm going to drop into the chat. And this will get you to the plan. And again, right now the video will be here. But if we scroll down, you get access to my deck. If you're interested in checking out membership, there are testimonials there, video testimonials. You can read it. You use this code before December 19th, and you can get 25% off the already $299, which is the one-time. Here are the Notion templates, and here are all the tools. And here's a testimonial. And of course, if you scroll down here, this is where you can purchase. We can purchase on Gumroad. And I hope that you consider becoming a member, or at least good luck on creating that annual plan for the year. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. LinkedIn is my favorite social media channel, but it's inside the community. You can connect with me directly. Okay. I don't see any questions. So with that being said, I'm going to close this out. You'll get the replay within 24 hours. Again, you already have most of it now. And I look forward to seeing you. And I'd love to see how your progress goes for the year of 2025. So enjoy, and I look forward to speaking with you again. All right, take care. Bye-bye.